Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
The intellectual history of mathematics is punctuated by moments of startling synthesis, when disparate fields are revealed to be facets of a single, deeper structure. The 1967 letter from Robert Langlands to Andre Weil, titled Problems in the Theory of Automorphic Forms, represents one of the most profound of these moments. This document, ostensibly a modest 17-page outlining of open questions for a master of the previous generation, functioned in effect as a comprehensive architectural blueprint for a grand unified theory of number theory and representation theory. Its influence emanates from the sheer audacity and coherence of its internal claims, which posited a series of vast, interconnected correspondences that have since animated entire branches of mathematics. This essay will undertake a direct evaluation of the work's specific claims and conceptual frameworks as they are presented within its pages, preceding section, biological section, to analyze the internal mechanisms and evaluate the evidence Langlands marshaled for his revolutionary program. We will explore the letter's arguments in their own terms, examining the intellectual machinery it constructed and the vision it articulated for the future of arithmetic. Section 1, the initial postulate and redefinition of purpose. The letter commences with a respectful yet firm reorientation of the prevailing research program in the theory of automorphic forms, a program largely defined by the monumental work of Harish Chandra. Langlands fully accepts Harish Chandra's project of decomposing the regular representation on the space of square-integrable functions on a reductive group over a local field, or an Adel ring. He acknowledges the Plancherel formula as a foundational achievement, the spectral decomposition of this vast analytical space. The central claim made in this opening passage, however, is that this decomposition is a beginning, providing the cast of characters for a much deeper arithmetic drama. Langlands proposes that the ultimate organizing principle for the constituents of this spectral decomposition, the automorphic representations, lies within the theory of L functions. His core assertion is that the rich world of automorphic forms, so painstakingly catalogued by harmonic analysis, could and should be parameterized by arithmetic data originating in number theory. He speculates that to each automorphic representation of a general reductive group, one can associate a complex analytic function, an Euler product called an L function, and that the analytic properties of these functions would encode profound arithmetic information. The evaluative weight of this opening claim is immense. It reframes the entire discipline from a descriptive and classificatory enterprise into a predictive and unifying one, suggesting that the seemingly chaotic spectrum of automorphic representations possesses a hidden, arithmetic order. The evidence presented at this early stage is one of analogy, appealing to the known cases of Heckel functions for the general linear group of degree 1, which encode the information of classical class field theory, and hinting at emerging results for the general linear group of degree 2. The argument's power is its compelling vision. It offers a purpose and a direction to the vast, technical machinery developed by Harish Chandra, Selbert, and Jelf. Section 2, the invention of the L group to formalize the connection between automorphic representations and their conjectural L functions. Langlands introduces a completely novel algebraic object, the L group. This is perhaps the most crucial piece of conceptual technology invented within the letter. For a given reductive algebraic group G defined over a number field F, Langlands constructs a new group, denoted LG, which is a semidirect product of two components. The first component is the complex dual group, GAT, whose root datum is dual to that of G. The second component is the absolute Galois group of the field F, or in a more refined local version, the Weil group of a local completion of F. The claim is that this hybrid object, the L group, is the natural receptacle for the parameters governing the L functions. An automorphic representation π of the group G over the Adels is hypothesized to determine a homomorphism from the Weil group of F into the L group LG. Such a homomorphism is what he terms an L parameter. This construction is a claim of profound structural insight. It asserts that the representation theory of the group G is intrinsically governed by an object that weaves together its internal theoretic symmetry, captured by the dual group, and the arithmetic symmetry of the base field, captured by the Galois group. The L group itself is the central claim. It is the correct framework. The evaluation of this claim, at the time of writing, rested almost entirely on its explanatory power and internal consistency. Langlands demonstrates how, for the general linear group of degree n, the dual group is again the general linear group of degree n over the complex numbers, making the L group a direct product. This simplicity allows for a clean statement of his reciprocity conjecture. For other groups, the structure is more complex, and the semi-direct product action becomes non-trivial, a subtlety that proved essential for later developments. The sheer invention of this object, without direct precedent, showcases a mode of reasoning that builds the necessary vocabulary to save the very problems it seeks to solve. It is a piece of pure conceptual architecture. Section 3. The principle of functoriality. Having established the L group as the central organizing object, Langlands articulates his most far-reaching structural conjecture, the principle of functoriality. The claim is that mathematical relationships between different reductive groups should be mirrored by relationships between their corresponding sets of automorphic representations. Specifically, any analytic homomorphism from the L group of a reductive group G to the L group of another reductive group H is conjectured to induce a stable and predictable transfer of automorphic representations from G to H. If one is given an automorphic representation π of G, which corresponds to a parameter mapping into the L group of G, one can compose this parameter with the given L group homomorphism to obtain a new parameter mapping into the L group of H. Functoriality claims that this new parameter will correspond to an actual automorphic representation of the group H. This is a claim of staggering generality. It implies, for instance, that understanding automorphic forms on simpler groups like Tori or Levy subgroups could yield information about automorphic forms on much more complex groups. It subsumes many known or suspected relationships, such as base change and automorphic induction, under a single, elegant mechanism. The evaluation of this claim reveals its nature as a grand unifying theory for automorphic forms. The evidence Langlands provides is again analogical and structural. He points to the case of automorphic induction developed by Heck for GL2 as a specific instance of this principle. The argument's force comes from its beautiful consistency and its ability to generate an endless stream of precise, testable predictions. It posits that the world of automorphic representations is not a disjointed collection of theories for each group, but a deeply interconnected web, with the L group homomorphisms acting as the threads connecting them. This transformed the study of automorphic forms into the study of a single, vast category-like structure. The intellectual wit here is seeing Langlands reduced a universe of specific, hard-won lifting theorems to a simple matter of composing maps, at least at the conjectural level. Section 4. The reciprocity conjecture as the arithmetic core, while functoriality describes the internal structure of the automorphic world. The reciprocity conjecture provides its profound connection to the heartland of number theory, Galois theory. Here, Langlands makes his most famous and arguably most important claim. He conjectures a deep correspondence between two fundamentally different types of mathematical objects. On one side, there are the n-dimensional complex representations of the absolute Galois group of a number field F. These are objects of pure arithmetic, describing the symmetries of algebraic numbers. On the other side, there are the automorphic cuspidal representations of the general linear group of degree n over the Adel ring of F. These are objects of analysis and representation theory. The reciprocity conjecture asserts that there is a bijection between these two sets. This correspondence is meant to be L function, preserving the Artin L function of the Galois representation should be identical to the automorphic L function associated with the corresponding automorphic representation. This claim is a vast generalization of classical Abelian class field theory, which can be recovered by setting n equal to 1. In that case, one-dimensional Galois representations correspond to characters of the idle class group, which in turn parameterize automorphic representations of the general linear group of degree 1. Langlands' evaluation of this claim's importance is clear from its placement. He is proposing that the non-abelian extensions of number fields, a central mystery of algebraic number theory, are perfectly mirrored in the spectral theory of adelic matrix groups. The profound implication is that questions about Galois groups, which are notoriously difficult and abstract, can be translated into questions about automorphic forms, which are more analytic and accessible to the tools of harmonic analysis. The evidence he cites is the one-dimensional case and tantalizing hints from the theory of modular forms for the two-dimensional case, where the work of Eichler and Shimura had already established a connection between certain modular forms and elliptic curves, the latter being a source of two-dimensional Galois representations. The claim effectively sets the agenda for modern number theory for the next 50 years. Section 5, grounding the conjectures with specific examples in a move crucial for the letter's reception. Langlands anchors his abstract framework with a discussion of concrete examples and known results, thereby demonstrating that his conjectures are a natural extension of existing mathematics. He explicitly identifies classical class field theory as the one-dimensional case of his reciprocity law for the general linear group of degree 1. This was a powerful rhetorical move, presenting his revolutionary program as the logical successor to one of the crowning achievements of early 20th century number theory. He then turns to the case of the general linear group of degree 2. Here, he connects his framework to the emerging theory of Jacquet and himself, which was establishing a comprehensive theory of automorphic representations for GL2. He points out how this theory could accommodate the known correspondences from modular forms for rational numbers and from the theory of quaternion algebras. The claim here is that his general framework provides the correct language and structure to understand these special cases and to see them as part of a larger, coherent picture. For instance, the Artin conjecture posits that Artin L functions associated with irreducible, non-trivial Galois representations are entire functions. Under Langlands' correspondence, this conjecture translates into a statement about the analytic properties of automorphic L functions. The evaluation of these claims is that they provided a crucial reality check for the program by showing how his vast, abstract machinery reproduced and unified known, hard-won results. Langlands made his conjectures plausible and compelling. He was not simply fantasizing, he was building a cathedral whose design was shown to be compatible with the structural integrity of the existing chapels and wings of the mathematical edifice. This section of the matter is what transforms it from a speculative fantasy into a working research proposal. Section 6, geometric realizations and future visions. Towards the end of the letter, Langlands ventures into even more speculative territory, hinting at the potential geometric origins of his proposed correspondences. He brings up the topic of Shimura varieties, which are certain algebraic varieties whose points are related to moduli spaces of abelian varieties with additional structure. He claims that the arithmetic of these varieties should provide a geometric realization of his reciprocity conjectures for certain groups. Specifically, he conjectures that the L functions of these varieties, as defined by Weil and Deligne through their étale cohomology, should be expressible in terms of the automorphic L functions he defined earlier. The deeper claim is that the Galois representations themselves, whose existence is predicted by the reciprocity conjecture, should be found living inside the cohomology of these Shimura varieties. This was a claim of extraordinary foresight. It predicted that the bridge between number theory and automorphic forms would be paved with algebraic geometry. At the time, this was a bold and unsubstantiated assertion. The evidence was thin, primarily stemming from the work of Shimura on the zeta functions of certain modular curves. However, the evaluation of this claim in hindsight is that it was perfectly correct. The subsequent work of Deligne in proving the Weil conjectures, and later his work on absolute Hodge cycles, and the monumental achievements of Drinfeld and Laforgue in proving the Langlands correspondence for function fields, have all relied on constructing and analyzing the cohomology of various moduli spaces, which are analogues of Shimura varieties. Langlands' claim here pointed the way toward the methods that would eventually yield the first major proofs of his conjectures, demonstrating a profound intuition for the interconnectedness of analysis, algebra, and geometry. In conclusion, the 1967 letter of Robert Langlands is a document whose claims operate on multiple levels. On the surface, it proposes a series of technical conjectures about L functions, functorial transfers, and reciprocity laws. The internal evaluation of these claims reveals a structure of remarkable coherence and explanatory power, where each concept L group, functoriality, reciprocity builds upon the last to form a unified whole. The evidence provided, a mixture of established theorems, emerging results, and powerful analogies, was calibrated to make the audacious program seem like a natural and necessary evolution of the field. At a deeper level, the letter's central claim is about the very nature of mathematical reality itself. It asserts that the symmetries of numbers, embodied by Galois groups of the symmetries of spaces, embodied by reductive groups and their representations, are two manifestations of the same underlying Platonic truth. The enduring significance of problems in the theory of automorphic forms comes from the fecundity of its questions. It presented less a set of answers and more a perfectly formulated research program, a map to a new world of mathematical inquiry. The claims within it were so deep and well posed that they have defined the landscape of arithmetic and representation theory for generations, and their progressive verification stands as one of the most spectacular achievements of modern mathematics, a testament to the unparalleled vision laid out in those 17 pages.
We really appreciate you tuning in to this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.